What's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. Hey, thank you for kicking it with me. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm a small channel. If you look at any of my videos, you see the views are a lot lower than most channels. So you support me is huge. You liking my videos is huge. I'm still small enough where I can appreciate that. Now, before I get started, I want to invite you to three places. Number one, beingreallyhood.com if you like music, vidmondo.com if you are a content creator. If you like YouTube, I'm sure you'll like Vidmondo. It's less restrictive and things of that nature. Also, wordy.com is a website that I created that is amazing. You have to check it out. It allows you to, basically speak to the world for 15 seconds. Check it out. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about Daniel, and I want to also talk about the Sunday's episode because on Sunday we'll have a new HOH competition, which means we'll also have a new HOH. And I'm actually looking forward to that. There's a new format that CBS is using for Big Brother where they're not really starting the HOH competition on Thursdays like they used to. And it's my belief that they're doing this because they're trying to draw more viewership for their live feeds. Apparently, live feeds are becoming a big thing. It reminds me of GTA. GTA was a great game, but apparently online or GTA Online just took off and they started to cater more to GTA Online. And this is exactly what's happening with CBS. CBS realized that live feeds is where everybody's going and they're starting to cater to it. They're not even showing the start of the HOH competition. So this is a new change. Again, another piece of BB evolution that we've talked about. Now, at the end of Thursday's episode, we see Daniel in disarray. He's completely distraught. He's upset. He says something that I didn't expect him to say on the live feeds. He says, "Nicole, hold my spot, keep my spot warm. I won't be here longer." And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he makes it known to the public that he knows he's a dead man walking and that at any point he's pretty much done. He's going to be out of the game. He tells her to keep the seat warm. He even says something that surprises me. He says, "I have to live with these people." And it was the most funniest thing I've ever heard somebody say it again. I have to live with these people. Certainly I start to begin to feel Daniel's pain. Daniel does a great job with conveying how he feels at that moment. And we've all been there at in a space in our life where it's like nobody likes me here and I can't wait to get out this place. And you certainly feel that when Daniel sees his best friend Nicole goes home. But who does Daniel blame but himself? He only has himself to blame because no one told Daniel, not even Kyle, told Daniel to bring Indy and Alyssa off the block. That was his own doing. So, this is a crazy season. Daniel has been plenty, entertaining. But I will also like to ask people, are you feeling sorry for Daniel yet? Has Daniel earned your sympathy? For me, let me be the first one to answer that question. The answer is surprisingly yes. Daniel has earned my sympathy. When I saw his face, a lot of times I zoom in on faces mentally. I just zoom in because that allows me to see exactly what the person is feeling. You know, that happened maybe twice this episode. One being Taylor. When I saw how upset she was, when I saw her just drenched in tears, that told me that this was not an act. She was genuinely upset with Monty, aka the leftovers, move and putting her and Nicole up. She just had enough of the block, and I found myself wondering if was it overdoing, was it acting, was it drama, and then I looked into her face and I saw how upset she was, and certainly this was not a game. She was genuinely upset with the move by Monty to put her up as a replacement nominee, even though the plan was already laid out and still that Nicole would go home. It didn't seem to matter at that particular moment. But I also looked in the face of Daniel when Nicole went out, and even after Nicole had gone out. Daniel was genuinely upset. He was angry about that move. But now we move on to Sunday. Looking a little bit further to Sunday, what's going to happen? What can we expect to happen? Obviously, they showed us nothing on Thursday regarding the HOH competition, and you already know that the live feeds are going to be bumping with spoilers. And you should know by this point that I never look at the live feeds because I like to be surprised. I'm an old school purist. Live feeds came out a little bit later in the game. They were not a part of the very first season. So, I'm more of a purist. I'm a person who likes to watch on the 3 days that they show per week. I don't need the live feeds, and I'm not knocking the live feeds. I want to make that very clear. I'm not knocking the live feeds. I respect the live feeds. I get it because this game is always moving. and the live feeds give you so much input and or insight. So I understand and I get it. But for me, I like to avoid it just so I can be or remain surprised so the show doesn't get too oversaturated for me. But not knowing who the HOH will be, not watching the live feeds, here are my picks. I'm gonna say that the HOH competition will certainly be won by 3 people, and I'm not sure, obviously, but my guesses are Michael. And here's why. Michael has been a veto competition monster. He's won basically 75% of the veto competitions. And I think he's starting to realize that in order to really get the power that he craves, and you can tell Michael is really craving power. That move to create a alliance within an alliance tells me front row and center that he wants to be in control. He wants to have power. And he has to know, being the intelligent person that he appears to be, that he has to win an HOH competition. Now, he is a veto monster. We all see that, but quite frankly, being a veto monster doesn't quite scratch the itch that Michael has. He has to win an HOH. And I think coming up, he'll have that opportunity. I'm going to also throw in Terrence. I believe Terrence will, at 2 points in this game, be incredibly important. A broken clock is right twice a day. And Terrence, to this point, has been mostly passable. He hasn't been a player that you really have to care about. But I think at least twice this season he will be. So I'm going to say Terrence. I'm also going to say Taylor. I think Taylor is a big player that could win this week's HOH competition. But of all those 3 players, none of those players quite equate to Daniel. Man, I'm not going to pick him as a top 3 player to win, but I will say he is 4th on my list. Or I'll even go as far as to say that I want him to win more than anybody else in the game just to see the house shaking up, but I don't see it happening. Now, let me go back to Taylor just a little bit. Taylor is my 3rd pick to win, and here's why. She has been at the disposal of the house for most of the game. She's been bullied. She's been pushed over. You name it. She trusted Monty. She trusted the Leftovers Alliance. And what happened? She got burned. I think more than anyone else in the house, Taylor understands the importance of having the power. Because if she doesn't have the power, I think she has already calculated and already realizes that she will be put on the block nonstop. Okay. And that's even if a Leftovers member wins. It's not like, okay, I'm safe if a Leftovers member wins, because we've already gone through that equation. We've already seen the outcome. Monty puts her up. So I don't think she trusts the Leftovers as much as we would like her to. I mean, ideally, you would want her to trust the Leftovers Alliance at a 10. I think it's more like a 7. And with that being the case, I think she knows that in order to have full power and to absolutely keep herself off the block, she actually has to win. She has to win the HOH competition. So this is why I say that my picks are Michael, Terrence, and Taylor. We'll see what happens. I think, it's tough because I don't really see Indy winning. I don't see Alyssa winning. I don't see Joseph winning. I don't see Kyle could win. Kyle could win, but I don't see Kyle winning. But he could. Obviously Monty can't win. So, this is why I picked those 3, and we will only know. Well, I will only know on Sunday. You'll probably know sooner than that because you watch the live feeds. I don't. All right, but those are my picks, and I can't wait to figure out whether or not I'm right or wrong. But please let me know in the comments. Do you feel sorry for Daniel? Do you feel like Daniel has been through enough? I know we all wanted to see Daniel suffer, and I think we have. I think we've seen Daniel go through a lot. Have you seen enough suffering from Daniel to at once give him some sympathy? And more so, are you a player who has never been mad at Daniel? I mean, sure, most of America has resented Daniel's gameplay, some of the things he's said, but there has to be a lot of people, or at least a specific group of people, who have never been upset with anything Daniel has done or said. And I'm looking forward to hearing from those individuals. So with that being said, we will be back on Sunday to analyze the game, the HOH winner, their nominees, and I can't wait for that day. So make sure you tune in on Sunday. I will be back, and please let me know, has Daniel suffered enough? All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Peace.